It's a scary time to be alive when it seems like there's a new virus outbreak every other month. We can't help but think, what if a virus got truly out of control? And what is life like for the unfortunate souls that get stuck in quarantine, forced to live their lives separated from their loved ones? Well, rather than try and reach out to any patients who have been quarantined like a true journalistic outfit, we decided instead it'd be funny. More enlightening if we tasked everyone's favorite Infographics lab rat with living in quarantine for a full week. Day 1. You know what? I don't even hate this challenge. In fact, I'm kind of excited. Ever since I saw that early Jake Gyllenhaal movie, Bubble Boy, I've been wondering just what in the world it would be like to live quarantined off from the rest of society. I know it won't be any picnic, but I guess curiosity's definitely got my cat. And I don't know, I'm just kind of excited. I had to coordinate this one with Infographics before doing it because I told them if I was going to live in quarantine for a week, I was going to do it right. And that meant one thing: plastic sheeting. Lots of it, and I mean a lot. The solution turned out to be a construction supplier here in town, which even delivered the 200-foot rolls of plastic sheeting straight to my doorstep. You heard that right. 200 feet of plastic sheeting, half a millimeter thick per roll, and I got 3 of them. Of course, I immediately realized I had seriously overestimated how much plastic I'd need, but don't you worry, I will definitely find a use for all this plastic. I solemnly vow not to dump it in the ocean where it'll murder the sea turtles. So I got to work as soon as the girlfriend left the house to go to a shoot she'd scheduled. I knew she'd be gone for at least 14 to 15 hours. Yeah, people in the entertainment industry work some absolutely brutal hours. Anyway, that gave me more than enough time to put my plan into motion. I have to live in quarantine, which means I can't come into contact with the outside world under any circumstances. Well, with a few reasonable exceptions. I don't much feel like living in a bubble or being stuck in one room, so I got creative. Our new apartment we just moved into is a cute little one-bedroom place with a large living room, attached kitchen, and small dining room area. It's all kind of an open floor plan except for the bedroom, so there's very few walls. I kind of love how open it is, to be honest, and the location's great. It's literally like 2 blocks from the beach. Good thing the girlfriend makes like 10 times the money I do, or the only rent we could afford in this area would be for a shoebox. What I really like about the place for this challenge, though, is how easy it's going to be to convert into a relatively comfortable quarantine area. Along with all that plastic, I had Infographics spring for a ton of duct tape, like 15 rolls in total. The first thing I did was attach plastic sheeting to the wall at the head of our bed, and then I ran it to the doorway, snaking it a bit to the left because our bedroom door is on the left, then out to the living room and beyond. In essence, when I was done putting up multiple layers of plastic, I had split the room, including the bed, completely in 2. Then I had to tear half of it down when I realized I had left her massively heavy makeup desk thingy on my side of the quarantine zone. It's where she sits and does her makeup every morning, and so I had to shove that thing, which I'm pretty sure is made of solid granite, to her side of the room, and then I put the sheeting back up and moved on to the living room. From the living room, I extended the sheeting toward the kitchen, but here I had a dilemma. I couldn't wall off the stove and the refrigerator or she wouldn't be able to fix herself any food for a week, and I probably shouldn't have plastic anywhere near the stove. So I aborted my plans to extend to the kitchen and just settled on splitting off half to the living room. I ran the plastic straight through the middle of the couch so I could have a place to sit comfortably, and then fastened it to the wall on the right side of the TV. All in all, I had a decent living area set up and wouldn't be stuck in one tiny room for the entire week, which should help with the stir craziness. Now I am officially sealed into one half of the apartment, and I guess I have nothing to do but wait the week out. See you guys at my midweek check-in. Day 3. Okay, so I didn't think some things through completely. But first, let's rewind to day 1 real quick. I hadn't told the girlfriend about the challenge. It's kind of become a little game for her to guess or figure out what my new challenges are, except, well, this one was pretty obvious the moment she opened the door. She came in and was immediately greeted by our dog, who had spent half the day whining on the other side of the plastic because he couldn't get to me anymore. Yeah, that kind of hurt a little. Anyway, after she greeted our dog, she looked up and, well, she didn't say anything. Her jaw just kind of slowly dropped as she took in our new, cute apartment, which was separated nearly in half with plastic sheeting. She didn't really say anything, just slowly made her way to the bedroom door, looked inside, saw the bed was also split in half with plastic, and just said, "Of course, it makes total sense." Then she sat down on her half of the couch and finally looked over at the bathroom and said, "You know, the bathroom's on my side of the plastic, right?" I told her, "Yeah, of course, that's why I got..." And she immediately cut me off with a very stern no. To make a long story short, well, this living in quarantine is in no way going to involve me using the bathroom indoors unless it's in our actual toilet. I bought plastic bags and kitty litter in a big bucket, but oh boy, she was not having it. She made it extremely clear there was only one way I'd be using the bathroom. So Infographics is going to have to deal with me making an exception to my quarantine challenge that I get to leave my plastic world for a number 1 and a number 2. And if they have a problem with it, well, they can take it up with her, although I seriously don't recommend it. So yeah, the girlfriend wasn't too pleased with me or the show for turning her cute little brand new apartment into a quarantine zone, to say the least. But it turns out I kinda didn't think things through completely. The TV, for example. I left the remote outside the plastic because, of course, I wanted my dear sweet girlfriend to be able to unwind and watch TV, but that also means it's out of reach for me and I can't change the channel all day long. Now, luckily I managed to worm the PlayStation onto my side of the plastic, so I have that, but I left every single DVD and game on the outside, so unless I'm playing something on the hard drive already, forget about it. Also, in what is absolutely becoming a recurring theme, I forgot how to deal with food delivery. Obviously, I can't cook, so the girlfriend very graciously slides me things like sandwiches through a little slit I built in the plastic and hot meals whenever she's home. I guess that's kinda cheating a little bit, but hey, if you want the real deal, go ahead and hit up the Infographics to spring for a full-time in-home Bubble Boy habitat situation. Except, of course, the girlfriend would probably murder everyone involved in that little shenanigan. Thing is, I'll occasionally need to order delivery. Like today, for instance, when I got hungry and the girlfriend was back on set for a billion hours, except I totally forgot about being able to go to the front door. So I got creative. I ordered my delivery and then called the drivers when they arrived and directed them to an open window on the quarantine side of the apartment. I guess opening a window is cheating too, but you know what else I realized I forgot? Cutting off all that airflow is a good way to damn near asphyxiate yourself in plastic, so an open window became a necessity. Anyway, the driver was pretty cool about it, but was definitely weirded out by the whole thing. Good to know I'm already setting a bad precedent with local delivery drivers in our new place. Day 7. I don't know why I was excited about this challenge in the first place, because let me tell you, living like a bubble boy absolutely sucks. The lack of proper ventilation meant that my side of the apartment got extremely hot and humid from all my breathing. And for the last 7 days, I've had to try to comfort my dog from afar because he was very upset that I was living on the other side of several sheets of plastic from him. I have to admit, I missed him really bad. Turns out the girlfriend missed me too. On day 4, as we both lay in bed separated by plastic, she just turned over toward me and looked really sad. She was kind of quiet and said that she really didn't like living like this, so close together but separated by all the plastic. Then she just softly said, "I really miss you." It felt like a punch in the gut, to be honest with you. When we moved to this new place, we shuffled our lives around so that we would spend less time apart from each other. Sometime around the Alone in the Woods challenge, we both had a really long talk and decided that what we really wanted in our life, more than our own careers and success and whatever, was to be with each other. So we agreed to make it a priority, which really just means that she agreed to stop accepting jobs that send her out of town for days or weeks at a time. She made a pretty big sacrifice, and this silly challenge reminded me of why. In the end, when we look back on our lives, neither of us want to regret even the smallest amount of time spent apart that we really didn't have to. When she told me she missed me that night, I almost tore down the plastic just so I could hold her again. Maybe I do take these silly challenges too seriously, but one of the reasons I do is how they broaden my horizons. I've realized this over the last week, how terrible it really is for people who have to live in quarantine for real. Not just sick people, but even people who have to live in special environments or can't spend too much time around other people. Maybe even can't rest in the arms of someone they love because of how weak their immune systems are. I have such a new appreciation for normal life and a deep respect for the strength it takes to live such a difficult life. So, how do I sum up the rest of my week? Well, uncomfortable, for one. Without proper ventilation, my side of the apartment got really hot and muggy, and good thing I had 2 windows I could open. I found myself staring out the window at the outside world a lot. Even just listening to people walking by outside or cars going by was sort of exciting for me and depressing. I kept imagining all the people just walking around, going about their day, and me stuck in this plastic cocoon. I really couldn't live my entire life like this. I learned that there was a real-life bubble boy, David Vedder, with a severe immunodeficiency disorder. He ended up dying at age 12, but until then, he lived in a completely bubble environment. NASA ended up designing a bubble habitat for David, and he lived inside a series of connected bubble environments. It wasn't until he was 6 years old that once more, thanks to NASA, he got to go outside, but he had to be be inside a bubble suit of sorts. Until he was able to get into that suit and leave his bubble habitat, his mother had never even been able to hold him in her arms. David died after contracting a virus, and his mother only ever got to hug him without plastic between them after he was already dead. I'm not gonna pretend I didn't cry when I read about David's story, and if there's a bright side, it's that his disease has been cured by modern therapies, largely thanks to the blood that he donated. I'm done living in quarantine, and yes, the whole thing has been extremely uncomfortable and tedious, but the hardest part about it, and maybe the hardest thing I've ever had to do, was live my life with the person I love most in the world always just a few inches away from me, on the other side of impenetrable plastic. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I'm done writing and I'm gonna go hold the woman I love in my arms for a very long time. David, wherever you are now, this episode's for you. If your eyes are dry enough to keep the watch party going, then why not check out some of our favorite lab rats' previous challenges, such as Chained to My Boyfriend for 72 hours. Or maybe you want to sneak a peek into our favorite challenge couple's perfect life, with 24 hours to create the perfect life in Sims. Go ahead, take a moment to dry your eyes, and then click on one of those vids.